What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Oh, oh my God. Talk about a misclick. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. It's been a long week, Molly. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Thursday, waiting for Friday. Yeah, what up, what up, what up? Got my black Air Forces, my black white beater. I actually need a lint roller. I think I got a lint roller in there. Yeah, man, so here we are, Thursday. What up to the chasers? Yes, 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 yes. So I'm here. I am alive and well. Well, my life is an open book. What if something was crazy happening in the background? What if something crazy was happening in the background? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. What's going on, y'all? It is Thursday, November 14th. It's been a long week. Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Year, year of our Lord. Good thing I'm not naked out here in these streets. Don't worry about it. Y'all get it later. Anyways, we got after hours tonight. What else have we got? We got our live show coming up December 14th. Make sure you get your tickets to that. Also, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And what else we got going on? Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And we gonna get... I'm trying to be serious so we can get this show popping. Oh my gosh, what in the world is going on? Anyways, so let's go ahead and get started with the show. We already here, right? We already here. Y'all tuned in. Everyone ready to watch the Iron Mike beat on Jake Paul tomorrow? I am. Nah, listen, you ain't never got to worry about that. Ain't nothing popping out here like that. He a one of one on his own. I was watching Harley Initiated yesterday. Shout out to my dogs, Harley Initiated. And Tyshawn hit me up. He's like, hey, you want to jump on? I said, I can't, man. I am tired. I am about to go to sleep. And yeah, you seen it on there? I said, I'm tired. I'm about to go to sleep, but I am watching you in the background. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of zesty pastors out here in these streets, and that's an abomination. I hate to say it. I hate to call it. But it's a lot of pastors, it's a lot of people that's out here doing stuff behind the scenes that's unseemly, and I'm not a fan of it. So, yeah, man, we going to figure it out. We going to hold these people accountable, and we going to continue to march forward. What up to my ladies? What's up to my fellas? How y'all feel today? And y'all ready to get started with the show? I say let's get started with the show. First thing I want to do is I want to highlight my people on Cash App. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. I appreciate you. Vanessa K. Todd says, I do support Trump. Shout out to my girl, Vanessa. I appreciate you holding me down. Mike, that dude is in the building. And then my dog, ESDC. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I started to pull up on Harley Initiated. I didn't feel like getting dressed because I was laying down. Yesterday, I'm back in the gym consistently every day since I've carved out more time. And so I wanted to focus on working out, health, wealth, all of that type of stuff. And so we training. I hired a trainer. I hired a nutritionist. So that's all going well. And we grind, man. We grind and then take a shower, especially on a Wednesday night. I'm not live streaming on a Wednesday night. I get to bed early. I try to make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. And we get it up from there. So yes, man, it's time to grind. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I actually took off coaching, right? Because I needed that extra 4 hours. I needed it for a while. For the next few months, for the next 3 to 4 months, I just wanted to dedicate myself to health. You know what I'm saying? Mental health, physical health. I'm preparing. I don't wait till the new year to get it popping. I wanted to make sure that I've been in a space. What up, Carrie in the building? Hey, Carrie got a new profile photo. We're going to add that on to the after hours soon. Don't worry about it. But I wanted to focus on health. The reason that I stopped doing coaching calls for a minute is because I wanted to enjoy life a little bit, get out, you know what I'm saying, go to a couple games. Again, I hired a nutritionist. I hired a trainer. And so I'm dedicating myself to that. And I wanted to spend the next 3 to 4 months just working on me, just focusing on me. Because I know I'm about to get the studio back popping. About a week from now, we start construction on this. And so I just wanted to focus on me. And me being the best version of me allows for me to be consistent and add value, hopefully, to y'all lives, right? So, you know, we got to make sure that the numbers is right. We got tax season coming up. And so it's a lot of things that I needed to dedicate those 4 hours to, in addition to Anton from AntonDaniels.com. So that's what I'm dedicated to. That's one of the reasons why I held off, because I can't pour into you if I'm completely empty. I pour into you all year long, and then I need the last 2 months, beginning first month, to focus on making sure that I recalibrate, that I'm in the best position possible, and that I'm healthy for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that's what we own. That's what we own. Your wife doesn't cook? Absolutely, she cooks. But I'm back and forth. Listen, I don't live a traditional lifestyle, big dog. I'm back and forth out from the suburbs. I'm back down in the studio. I got multiple different places. I fly everywhere. You know what I'm saying? She's working. She's working for me in specific roles. She's overseeing my whole real estate arm. So I'm cognizant of her schedule too. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to have her stop what she's doing from a real estate perspective when I can hire a personal chef. That makes no sense. We both got personal chefs now. So, yeah, man, we own that. We own that. We get into it. We got to run it up. And we own it. Look at Carla. Carla said Anton had Bailey's today. Shout out to my girl, Carla. Yeah, and thank you for calling in the other day, love. That was a great conversation. Jay says, good morning, everyone. Have a beautiful, blessed, productive day at work. Ready for the show. New bag chaser, ready to get money and elevate my life. Shout out to the new chasers. Shout out to the new chasers. Smoke on the Water says, Black Beater AD. Yes, yes, yes. You gotta, listen, whenever you put your wife beater on your undershirt, it has to match whatever it is that you're wearing. You don't wear white with black. You don't wear black with white. You don't do none of that. You wear black with black, white with white, gray with gray, all of that, all right? give y'all a little bit of pop. It says, Anton Dog popped up the stream with the boobies out. No, I still have my wife beater on, big dog. Great day to make. Usually I have my hoodie on. Anyways, great day to love God and make money. Good morning to Molly. Y'all saying good morning to Molly out here? Molly, you getting fans. Okay. Molly, we got to get that 360 deal done. Nicole says, my favorite content creator, my husband and I started watching the Patreon together, and we are learning so much. You are a blessing. Shout out to the new bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Ashley Patterson's, Anton, I just wanted to say, I pray God continue to bless you the way that you bless others. It was so kind of you, the way you blessed the young lady the other day. May God continue to bless you and your family. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you. That's what we do. That's what we do. Devastator says, good morning, Anton. If you're going to be outside, don't forget that Tiege Hanley. Got to keep that skin healthy. Shout out to Devastator. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? I see you, Carrie. Carrie, you coming on the show tonight? Molly, I think Molly needs to make a special appearance. Molly, email me. Email me, Molly. Email me, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. Email me at AntonDaniels413@gmail.com, all right? Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Nairobi, shout out to Nairobi. He says, hey, Anton, I'm excited. Got me a Fidelity account. Got some Coca-Cola and Rivian stock, new to the Patreon. I'm a small fry coming into a little money. I need to know how to invest and flip it. I need your help. Are you watching Stock Club, Nairobi? Nairobi, are you watching Stock Club? Watch the last Stock Club. It's the last video, and then also tap into the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. And we're going to run it up. We're going to get that bag. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show, y'all. Quick hits. See what I'm saying? See, I knew it. This is the reason, this right here is the reason why I was over here with a wife beater on. Quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily got to get my buttons right. I don't know what's up with my buttons. It's a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on out in these streets, man. All right? First things first. A father and daughter in Brooklyn. Hey, what the heck is happening in Harlem and Brooklyn? Is Harlem and Brooklyn? You do have a lot of homework, Annie Marie. Is Harlem and Brooklyn the pit of the five boroughs? Is Harlem and Brooklyn the pit of the five boroughs? It's a woman, father and his daughter, and a daughter was found with their neck slashed in Brooklyn. Check it out.
A disturbing story out of Brooklyn. Police have identified the father and daughter who were found dead with their throats slashed in their home in Cypress Hills. News 4's Gabi Acevedo live this afternoon. Gabi, I understand you have some new information from police?
That is correct. Police are looking into this case. I saw detectives coming in and out of the home during the day. And at this hour, you can see behind me, family and neighbors gathered to honor the victims in a vigil. They're all in shock about the violence that happened at this home here in Cypress Hills.
Y'all said the Bronx. The Bronx is the pit. What's the worst of the five boroughs? Is it the Bronx? Because there's parts of Brooklyn that I know is dope because I've been to it. Bronx is worth, although people is nicer. Is the Bronx the pit of the five boroughs? Y'all let me know.
Father and daughter lived for over 30 years. And Natalie, as you mentioned tonight, police sources are telling News 4 they have someone in for questioning. Investigators working the crime scene after a gruesome discovery inside this two-story Brooklyn home.
You hear things like this and you know.
I don't think I've ever been to
home. Words can't even describe.
Police say 66-year-old Jacqueline DeLyons and her father, 91-year-old Roseville Simmons, both found dead on the kitchen floor of their house on Warwick Street. Their throats had been slit.
Feeling and just trying to get a sense of why and what happened and how it, everything. And we don't have any of those answers.
That's true, Tyra. But we got to get the negative stuff out the way.
tragedy what happened. But
Roseville Simmons was known to people in the community as Bubba. Friends of the family say Jackie was a very religious person and that in recent years she was sharing one of the floors inside the home with a man.
Before this horrific incident happened, she was writing down some scriptures with her brother and herself at a prayer line.
Detectives canvassed the scene looking for evidence. Police sources are questioning someone in connection to this case. Neighbors told News 4 it's a man who also lived in the building.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with this guy. This guy was calm and peaceful. I never heard.
I am very, very skeptical of everybody at this point in my life. And I don't know if it's just the fact that I've been doing the Millionaire Morning Show and being a content creator for so long that now I am skeptical, because usually when something happens to you, it comes from somebody that you know. Now, unless you out here sliding and gliding and being extra and making yourself all known and you moving recklessly and everybody, if it's not one of them situations, 9 times out of 10, when you see these crimes and when you see stuff happening, it's somebody else that live in the building, it's somebody that you know, it was not some random attack or something like that. I am incredibly, incredibly skeptical of every single thing that I see nowadays. It's almost like the older I get, the more skeptical I become. Trayon White. Y'all remember who Trayon White, the DC council member that got caught up in the bribery charges? And they released the video of them bribing him on camera. Well, he's recently appeared in court and he has some things to say. Check it out.
Can we talk to you?
1 second. Yeah, you can stand right there. You gotta keep them close.
Sir, can you camera?
Right there. Sit down.
So today was a day we set our trial dates. I'm extremely comfortable with my attorneys. I have 2 sets of attorneys right now. Just taking it one day at a time. I do want to say this. I am entitled to a due process like everyone else. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. Here in D.C., we are concerned about President Trump becoming president and what that can mean for D.C. I'm a Democrat, but I have nothing against the incoming President Trump. But I want to say this. As a citizen, I would expect the council to give me the same, and the people of Ward 8, the same justice that we allow the federal government to give us. And that's just the vote of the people. 20,000 people voted for me to be the council member last week of the ward in Ward 8. And so we entitled to have our rights heard as well. And so we plan to fight the government in court and just go through the process. And I think that, we have to hear the voice of the people. 20,000 people voted for me last week. We want to represent the people of Washington, D.C. well. And I plan on having meetings with certain leaders in the community to ensure that we're moving Ward 8 forward.
Trey, why are you arguing you're not guilty?
What do 20,000 people voting for you got to do with whether or not they caught you on camera taking bribes for things that you're supposed to be doing inside of the community? I'm confused. So if 20,000 people vote for you, but you're on camera, and what does Trump have to do with your case at all? What is the comparison? Now, again, y'all got to be careful of these liberals and these Democrats because they will throw a bunch of word salad up and start to have a conversation with you. Let's continue to hear what he got to say. I don't know what he got to say.
Thank you.
Did you betray your council? Did you betray your constituents at all, Councilmember White?
And is this more of a reflection of the people? Because it means that if you just popular and you got some braids in your hair and you say black power, man, let me tell you something, bro. I can get a whole new demographic of people as soon as I put on my dashiki and I say black power. I can get a whole new demographic of people if I put on my dashiki and I say black power, bro.
Why are you arguing you're not guilty and pled not guilty? Why are you arguing you're not guilty?
Can you be an effective council member while this is going on?
Walk. No more comments. Come on. No more comments.
Anything you would like this baby?
She got on that Gucci scarf. I see you, boo. And she got on the Gucci bag. Did they get that with the bribe money?
Would you like counsel to drop the ad hoc committee while you're working?
Is it possible that Trump in the White House could actually help your case if he fires any of the prosecutors?
Where's this car?
All right, don't look like he answering no more questions. I don't want to hear nothing else from Democrats at all. Because you know what the first thing that they'll say? Well, we all know that Trump should have never had no charges in the first place because that was really election interference. But the first thing that people will say, black people will say, oh man, I'm not never voting for somebody that's a convicted felon. Okay, well, what is this? What the hell is it? They got this guy on camera taking bribes when the money was supposed to be diverted over to the community. Anyways, and then last but not least, Boeing is beginning layoffs. Starting immediately, they're going to start notifying people.
All right, Taylor, thank you. Today, Boeing employees will learn if they will have a job in January, and that includes some machinists who just wrapped up a 2-month-long strike. Fox 13's John Hopperstad in the newsroom right now. John, how many job cuts are we talking about?
Well, Bill, according to the Seattle Times, this could be 10% of Boeing jobs cut by mid-January, and that's about 17,000 workers. And today is when employees will find out if they'll be losing their job this holiday season. These cuts will be spread out across the company, targeting overhead and non-essential positions. Engineers and production workers will also be part of the layoffs, and that includes some machinists who just finished up with that strike. Now, the machinist strike heavily impacted Boeing's ability to make and deliver planes, and according to the Seattle Times, the company only delivered 10 jets from Washington in the entire month of October. 4 other jets were delivered from their South Carolina assembly plant, and that's the lowest total since the height of the pandemic 4 years ago. It also pales in comparison to their top competitor, Airbus, which did deliver 62 commercial jets in the month of October. Now,
struck yourselves right on out of a job. Hit the picket line, and now you about to get your notice effective immediately. No holiday money, no bonuses, no Christmas, no Thanksgiving, no New Year's, no Martin Luther King Day, no Veterans Day, no nothing, no 4th of July. Listen. Struck yourself right on out of a job. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Hit the picket lines, and now you about to hit the unemployment line. Ain't that something? They said we want a record contract. They said, we got you. We got you. We gonna give you your record contract. We got you, ladies and gentlemen. That's your quick hits. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show. Get that bag, says Pulsar Echo. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. And shout out to all of my people outside of the country. Solution Trucking Channel says, good morning, AD. What's 3 to 5 questions that I should ask a CPA to gauge whether they are a good fit for me, or questions that I should ask them at all? You know, I don't think that it's necessarily questions that you should ask. I always vet people through conversation. Because anybody, look, think about it like this. Interviews or vetting people is similar to talking to women. It's similar to networking effectively. Most people think it's the people that can answer the questions the best. I don't pay attention to that. I pay attention to whether or not you got great work ethic. I want to see what other people say about you. And I don't mean from no references. I just want to know what your history is, and then that's going to start to vet out whether or not, you know what I'm saying, I can go down this path, or whether or not I can go down that path, what people usually say about you. And usually, and this is me personally, I don't just randomly hire some people. Usually 98, 99% of the time, it comes from a recommendation. So for example, the girl that is going to be doing my studio, and that is coming in, and she flew in from wherever she is. I ain't gonna say where she located, but after she do her job and you see how great that it is, I'll promote her, and I'll ultimately, and I'm not getting nothing for promoting her. I'm not getting no discount or nothing. I'm paying for a price, because when people offer a service and they give me a price, if I actually want their services and I think that they worth it, I pay their price. So I'm paying her $80,000 to $100,000 to spend the next couple months redoing my studio. Well, that came directly as a reference from Carrie, right? Carrie said, Anton, I know what you're trying to do. I know this girl. And then she sent me, I said, Carrie, what you think about her? Well, Carrie's like, man, she good. This is what she been doing, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm already vetting you by the time that you call me. And then, you know what I'm saying? Once Carrie referred her, she hit me up and I didn't answer. I never answer on the first call. I never answer on the first call. I never respond to the first text message, first anything. And then she followed up immediately. And then all of this. And then so that started to give me more insight into whether or not she really wanted this. If this was something that she, you know what I'm saying? If she was good, I started paying attention to all of the things that was around her and the people that didn't refer her. And then that gave me my insight as to whether or not I wanted to work with her once I had a conversation with her. Recently flew her in. She flew in this past weekend. A lot of y'all know that she flew in this past weekend. And we sat, she measured everything out. We had a conversation. I asked her different questions about her background and what her thoughts was. And we had off conversation that had nothing to do with work. We spent a little bit of time together. Okay, I like that. She sent me an invoice, paid it immediately. And now I then start to, when I do my contracts, I shouldn't even be talking all of this about y'all. This is conversations that we have in a Patreon. I go through what I call, God, what do I call it? What was it called? Basically, I pay as you go, right? So we have the way I structure my contracts with people is I structure it to where we release it at certain points. So once you get to this point, we'll release this much. Once you get to this point, I release, 50% of it. Then it's another 25% release of it. And then it's this, right? So my budgets of how I do my projects in order to ensure that you do your job the right way and I don't just give you a lump sum of money is that I give you 25%, let's just say 25, and then milestones, that's what it's called. So I have milestones that I do with my contracts in order to make sure that people do their job. The quicker you do it, the better you do your job, the more quickly the milestone get released. So let's just say, for example, we got a $100,000 budget. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you 15 to get started, 10 when the job actually starts, right? That's 25%. And then I release a 25% milestone at the halfway mark, 25% milestone, and then I hit you with the final payment once everything is done. So, the way that I go about doing business is different than other people, but I always ensure that I don't get robbed, right? I never get robbed. If I do lose a little bit of money, I can mitigate the process, and I'm going to go over this inside of the Patreon because it's also applicable with what I do when I build houses, right? I use the same method that I use when I'm hiring developers and I need them to do certain tasks, as I'm hiring contractors when I'm doing houses, as I hire people in order to come and redo my studio. And so the way that I go about taking care of business, I can mitigate risk, incentivize people to do things the right way and quicker, and then ultimately people get paid, not necessarily how long they spend on the job, but how quickly they do the job and how well the job is done. And then I put in a couple extra bonuses that benefit both me and the person in order to ensure that they become successful, all right? So, yeah, man, that's how I go about doing things. So when you're vetting for your CPA, often at time, you also want to make sure that you're talking to other people that have used them in order to ensure that you're getting the right people. All right, great question. I'm going to always give y'all the game. I'm going to always give y'all the game. I'm going to always give y'all the game, all right? So that's how I go about doing stuff. And then I don't babysit either. When she comes in and she's doing her job, I give her a key. I also introduce her to the security of the building. You get the money. You give me a price. I'll pay the price. I don't ask for no discounts. If I think that you're worth it, I give you the key. I give you the key to swipe in, the key to get in the door. I clear out, and you do your thing, and I'll let you do your thing. I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to call you to ask you how long this thing is done. I ain't doing none of that. You the expert. You do what you're supposed to do. Good morning, Anton. Health is Wealth. This is the best morning show. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. All American 09. I don't believe in babysitting. I'm late. Read the new international version Bible. Read Deuteronomy. I read the King James version. So I don't read the NIV. I read the KGV version. Shout out to Swizzy. Real talk, you don't understand what you do for the underdog. Been watching since 1819 and finally at a point where I'm making over $100,000 a year. Blessings to you and your family. Time to get this money. Joining this Patreon after the live. Shout out to my people that's running up in the new bag chasers. Daddy Day Trip says, drop that link. I'm at Boeing right now, hoping the email doesn't come through. We'll talk about it. Trade Rolly 4 says, real talk, I'm tired of this ish. Black Dems, that's puppets, probably made it hard for future black politicians who can't be bought. B says, Boeing laying people off because they know charging the government $1,000 for nothing to boat is about to stop. Well, if they wasn't having safety issues and problems, then we wouldn't be getting into this situation in the first place. Anyway, let's go ahead and really get started with the show. So let's talk about cartels, terrorist organizations. Cartels should be labeled as terrorist organizations. Tom Homan recently appeared on Newsweek. But before we get to that, we got to give you all an update on what the mindset is from people that's looking to come over to the border prior to Trump becoming president of the United States of America on January 20th.
Well, border crossings usually do tend to rise during the month of December once those temperatures cool down just a bit. But we could see some more migrants try to get into the United States once the Trump administration takes office come January. But a rep with the Texas Department of Public Safety tells me they're ready for anything.
We may see a surge, we may not, but we're ready in Texas.
It's a slow start to my ride-along in South Texas. Lieutenant Chris Olivares is on patrol, keeping watch along the Rio Grande. Then a call comes in.
We're going to head up to write them up.
Our first stop takes us to a town in the valley called McAllen. 3 men from Honduras and Mexico tried to climb over the border using this makeshift ladder. Their attempt fails. Their guide disappears back into Mexico and Border Patrol catches the men. That's one apprehension on a morning slower compared to years back.
Right now in Texas, illegal border crossings are down 88%. Now that's in part because of what we've been able to do in Texas by placing physical barriers along the river, making arrests on those who actually commit state crimes.
But with cooler weather and a new administration coming in January, preparations for a potential mass migration are underway.
And even more so now, we're conducting mass migration response exercises.
One of those exercises involves both Texas DPS and the state's National Guard, forming lines across vulnerable areas of the state's 1,200-mile border. The exercise is meant to send a message.
Illegal border crossers are not going to want to cross in that area. They're going to want to go somewhere else where there's less resistance.
The president-elect spent much of his campaign promising to secure the border and deport people who came to the U.S. illegally. Trump says he'll make good on his promise come day one. For Texas DPS, this change can mark a turning point.
It's been very difficult for us as a state when we have our own federal government challenging us and protecting our own state, trying to secure the border, when that is our responsibility, is to secure the border and to protect our country.
Yeah, and while there are preparations for a potential surge coming here to the Rio Grande Valley and the entire South Texas border, it's important to note that immediately after Trump's Election Day victory, a mass caravan full of thousands moving through Mexico cut down by nearly half.
Actually, they didn't. They just split up. They split up and went multiple different ways because they didn't want to be captured, and they have a greater chance of being able to get into the United States of America if they split up and then they all cross at different points instead of them all participating at the same point. This is Chris Cuomo and Tom Homan, the new border czar named by Trump, having a conversation about what is going to happen at the border if they should be labeled as terrorist organizations, these cartels, and then more importantly, which I don't know why they're not labeled as terrorist organizations, more importantly, what will happen to migrants if we don't secure the border?
Now, top of the list of real problems that Trump may well move on is immigration. It could be his first major legislative initiative. Now, given that this crisis has been evolving over the years, I wanted to kind of break down how we got here, okay? Kind of looking at the last 3 presidents as what they faced when they came in and what they did with that, all right? Let's start with border crossing. So let's get the graphics going. Obama, we'll start with him. He left office 400,000 illegal border encounters. In Trump's first year, border crossings dropped to a record low of 300,000. Why? Tough talk on immigration, which served as a deterrent. In his last year, and then he had the home country agreements where he was facilitating deals where people kept processing in their own borders, within their own borders. His remain in Mexico, pressuring Mexico to put troops on the border with Guatemala and the border with the U.S. His last year, border encounters were at 400,000. okay? Now, why'd they go back up? Because the demand returned, okay? Now,
why did they go back up? Because the demand returned? No, because everybody knew that y'all opened up the borders in order for everybody to be able to get in. And they called their cousins and they say, hey man, if you're looking to get here, you can get here. You can come on over to the border.
you go to Biden. And Trump had set up Title 42, okay, which slowed down asylum because of the pandemic. That helped. In Biden's first year, though, border crossings skyrocketed to 1.7 million. Why?
Look at the difference.
Wasn't talking tough about immigration, much more welcoming. There was a lot more instability in Latin America. There was a stronger U.S. economy post-COVID. You know, don't sleep on COVID as a factor in this. People weren't coming here because they were afraid of getting sick, or they were sick, and there weren't the same jobs, okay? And that was a big factor in suppressing the demand when Trump was in office, okay? Now, with a stronger economy, without COVID, you see crossings are like 5 times higher than when Trump left office. So what has he done? He has pledged to deport millions of illegal immigrants from the country. So let's compare how each president handled deportations. Obama's administration deported 240,000 migrants in 2016, but their enforcement policy focused, as does Biden's, on targeting criminals, not just those who only cross illegally. When Trump took office, his administration adopted a zero-tolerance policy, meaning everybody is seen as the same level of transgression.
Because the minute that you walk across the border, you're illegal. That's called breaking the law.
Allowing immigration officials to deport anyone who crossed illegally. By 2019, deportations had reached a high of 267,000. During his last year, mostly due to COVID, again, they dropped. Biden takes office, his administration issues new guidance to the agents, telling them to target migrants who pose a national security or public safety threat. Okay, kind of like Obama, but maybe even more selective. Deportations, therefore, plummet because you're looking for a smaller band of people. 59,000 in his first year.
No, because they wanted everybody to be able to come over here and do what they wanted to do, and they wanted to do it. Let's get to Tom Homan. I don't want to hear his monologue. I want to bring in Tom Homan.
Good to have you, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
The way I laid it out, pretty straight?
Yeah, a few things I disagree with you with, but I think it's more important, and you look at the numbers on the Biden administration, I care more about the numbers he released in the country more than I care about the deportation, because he released millions of people into the country where President Trump didn't.
And that is because, and please feel free to correct whatever assertions I made you don't agree with. You're the boss. But that is because Biden changed the definition of who the men and women doing enforcement should be looking for, correct?
No, that'd be ICE. He has changed the definition of who ICE should be looking for. He's made it clear, Secretary Mayorkas made it clear to ICE that being in the country illegally on its own without a criminal charge, if you're not a public safety threat or a national security threat, they're off the table. So they changed who ICE was looking for. But as far as the Border Patrol, you know, they went from ending catch and release that the Trump administration had to releasing millions of people to the country. That's really the difference. And I blame that on ending the policies that were proven effective in the Trump administration. You know, look, I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. I've seen hundreds of policies come and go. I know what policies work, what policies doesn't. Love or hate Trump, the Remain in Mexico program was a game changer. People can still claim asylum, they wait in Mexico. That was a game changer, and after a few months, people stopped coming. Because when they realized they weren't going to be released in the United States, they weren't going to spend all their money giving it to the criminal cartels only to wait in Mexico. So, you know, by doing that, by moving immigration that low to a 45-year low, you know, less migrant deaths across the border, less women being sexually assaulted by the cartels, it had a really positive effect in the Remain in Mexico program.
Oh, so basically what you're telling us is that once they cut off the spigot, once people realize, oh, wait a minute, we can't finesse the system, all of these people, you know what I look at these illegal migrants as? You know what I look at illegal migrants as? Scammers. They're scammers. It's almost like how we don't like to label people in the hood that then shoot up their own blocks as terrorists. No, they're terrorists. we don't like to label the cartel as a terrorist organization. No, they're a terrorist organization. The question is whose palms is they greasing and how are the other opposite end benefiting it? And so I look at these illegal migrants as scammers because they learn the game, they learn the system, they communicate with each other, and then they figure out how to take advantage of a system illegally, but they're just not held accountable to the same standards. And so it used to be, okay, well, drug dealers and killers, they transitioned over into white collar crimes because it didn't make no sense to go out and being robbers and killers because you got football numbers when you got arrested for it. Well, once they start transitioning over into pimping and white collar crimes, pimping no longer was pimping, baby, because they were starting to hit them with human trafficking charges instead of just pimping and being, over some kind of prostitute. So, well, they had to switch the game. They went over to the PPP loans and credit cards because all of these people out here started telling them, hey, man, white collar crimes, they get off easier. Okay, so they start finessing off the white collar crimes and they start giving y'all football numbers because they said that, listen, wire transactions and wire transfers is fraud. And they start hitting y'all with way worse numbers. And so y'all start getting football numbers on that. It's no different than these people that are crossing the border because all they doing is finessing a system knowing that they're not going to be locked up. They're not going to be prevented from being over here. They're going to be released over into the United States of America. Next thing you know, your daughter is driving or jogging through the park and they getting snatched up and it's going left from there. And so I look at them as scammers because all they doing is communicating with each other. And that's why I hate, when AOC, and we're going to get to her later on in this stream, I hate when people like AOC or Kamala Harris or even black people, y'all aggravate me so much. When I see black people a lot of times caping and they saying, because, I can't believe it's family separation. Man, don't you know that they walking over here with them kids on purpose in order to prevent themselves from being shipped back to the country where they came from? Why y'all not trying to make Venezuela great again? Make Cuba great again. Make Haiti great again. Make Guatemala great again. If y'all would have had to make them great again and held y'all legislators and held the people that was trying to transfer y'all country over into criminal power, then maybe y'all wouldn't be in the situation that y'all in. But we said, hey, man, all right, listen, the inmates is running the asylum. They starting to gain numbers. We're going to have to nip this in the bud. It's getting out of control. We got to make America great again. Why y'all won't just make your own country great again?
First question is personal. You did the job. You just let people or reminded people how long you did the job. You were the acting director already. You then went into retirement after doing the job for the Trump administration for a while. They had your Senate confirmation up there.
Somebody said AOC said, hold on, wait. AOC said undocumented people still voters this year. Is she dumb? Nope, she not dumb. You want to know why she not dumb? I'm going to show you why she not dumb.
You didn't have to be confirmed originally because you were next in line for the job within the same agency. They pulled the confirmation. You retired. Why are you back?
Because I care. Chris, I've done this. I started as a board vigilante in 1984, so I know what it's like to wear that uniform. And when I joined ICE, 1989, I spent decades with ICE. I was the first ICE director that actually came up through the ranks. So the 20,000 men and women that reported to me, I never asked him or told them to do anything that I didn't do myself because I was one of them.
Let me show you why she's not dumb. Undocumented mechanic says he won't regret his support for Trump even if he's deported. A lot of these people was out here moving and shaking. If you think that Biden got 81 million votes in 2020, you are sadly mistaken. If you think that Biden got 81 million votes in 2020, I got a bridge to sell you. Why you think it was such a big deal for them to say that, oh man, you don't necessarily need ID in order to vote? What you mean you don't need ID in order to vote? What you talking about, Willis?
I care. And I care because of the tragedies I've seen on the southwest border. I've stood on the back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead people at my feet, including a 5-year-old little boy that baked to death. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times by a member of the cartel. And I can go on and on and on about the tragedies I've seen. I ran Operation Ice Storm in Phoenix, Arizona, where the cartels were ripping each other's house off where they were holding illegal aliens waiting for the payment, and they're ripping each other off. And if a migrant couldn't pay his fees, they kill him. And before they kill him, they call the relative who's supposed to pay the fee, and they forced him to listen, torturing the man until they came up with the fees that they demanded. So out of all the tragedies I've seen, plus I love the men and women of the Border Patrol. They put their lives online every day. Same with ICE. This can be fixed. And we need to fix it because it's going to save American lives. It's going to save alien lives. It just makes sense. There's no downside in a secure border. And I have arguments a lot up on Capitol Hill. Give me one downside in a secure border. What's the downside in less illegal migration? What's the downside in less fentanyl that killed 250,000 people? What's the downside in less sex trafficking of women and children, which is up now 600%? What's the downside unless people on terrorist watch lists coming across the border? A secure border saves lives. A country can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We got to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in. That's what national security is all about.
And this seems like it would be common sense to most people. But what I've realized is that common sense is not common until it commonly affects you when it's sitting on your doorstep. So a lot of people wasn't even tripping. When Kamala Harris and Biden was running their campaign and they was crisscrossing the country using taxpayer dollars in order to advocate for reproductive rights, nobody questioned immigration. We was over here on the Millionaire Morning Show screaming to the top of our lungs, hey, how come ain't nobody asking a question that everybody should be paying attention to? Why did they leave the borders open? Why did they sue Texas? Why is they flying people over here? Look at this program. Look at this program. Look at the app that they got released and that they developed. Look at the parole program that they got going over here. Why they hiding migrants over in the airport, over in Atlanta and Boston, and why they sleeping on the floors and in the police stations, and they can't even go do their job over in Chicago. Look at what's going over here. They're giving them free money over there in New York. Look at what's happening over in Denver. They taking over apartments. I've been screaming to the top of my lungs since 2021 to pay attention to what's going on in the migrant crisis, and nobody was looking. Nobody was paying attention. Nobody was covering it. Nobody was covering it in 2021, 22, and 23. It didn't even really become a thing until 2024. But people don't care until it's directly on their doorstep. Then, when they start snatching their wigs off their heads in New York and they start taking over apartments over there in Denver, everybody wanted to start becoming gung-ho. I'm a focus. I need, what's going on with the migrant crisis? No, nobody cares until it's on their doorstep. Nobody. Same thing with the drugs. Until your homeboy, your cousin, became a meth head and he was missing a tooth up here and their eyes was gouged out. Oh, we need to start holding big pharma accountable. Everybody got cancer. Bad baby walking around with cancer. Now everybody is concerned about RFK Jr. Nobody knew about RFK Jr. prior to Trump saying, you know what, let me listen to you, and if I become president, I'm going to make you a part of my administration. We need to fix our food and the FDA. And you know, it's still people that ain't even informed. If I ask one of my family members, hey man, you know about RFK Jr., you know about Jill Stein and what she was talking about in the Green Party, you know about Tulsi Gabbard and why she switched over from being Democrat to being Republican, you know anything about border security and why they're trying to secure our borders and why it's very difficult. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care nothing about that. I don't like Trump.
Tom, let's deal with the supply, and then we'll get to the migrants themselves. It used to be coyotes. Okay, now it's cartels. It's all you hear. And do you believe that in
Justin Carter, you know I like to entertain the chat because the chat is my co-host for the day. Justin Carter says, this guy's talking about black people. We beyond here being over here. He ain't even got no periods in his sentences. No commas, no periods, no exclamation point, talking in all lowercase letters. But I'm going to try to make it easy. This guy talking about black people always running in the Victim Olympics. I guarantee you he's a DEI hire. We being over here before America was America. Check your facts. We was over here in the 1400s with the Indians. My people, my people. My people, my people, they perish for lack of knowledge. My people, my people, my people, my people. My people, my people. I'm about to come amigos. My people, my people. My people, my people. Come on off the Democratic plantation, big dog. Come on off that Democratic plantation, man. Come on. Victim Olympics, Democratic plantation. Come on off of it. My people, my people. Jesus Christ. Got to get back to border security. We gonna get there, y'all. We gonna slowly grab them off the Democratic plantation. Come on off.
Instead of a national roundup of illegal entrants, our major focus of resources and political pressure on foreign countries should be on stopping
and do not censor anybody that got a difference of opinion than me or y'all. We have a long leash over here. We not an echo chamber. I have my own personal opinion, but I invite everybody else to have a difference of opinion also. You're just not going to be, you might get brought to the front of the congregation.
Cartels in Mexico and the threat to Mexico that if they don't do it, and supposedly the new leader there is kind of against the idea of taking on the cartels, that will do it. And do you believe you could legally declare them terrorist organizations and use the military to go after cartels?
Well, look, ever since I gave the speech at the RNC, I've had numerous death threats from the cartels against me and my family. And matter of fact, my family isn't with me right now because of the death threats. But, President Trump has promised that he would designate them terrorist organizations. And I believe he should, and he will. And the reason why they should be designated terrorist organizations, the criminal cartels of Mexico have killed.
If you saying in-person live shows will be lit, yeah, I got an in-person live show on December 14th. Get your tickets. We're going to be rocking out.
More Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. Now, I just said, 250,000 Americans dying from fentanyl poisonings. And up to 4,000 aliens have died crossing the border. So, these cartels are wreaking havoc in this country. And like I said, killed so many Americans. President Trump is committed to doing it, and I think he should. Because the cartels are a national security threat to this country. You're getting a fentanyl from China. The precursors, they send it to the criminal cartels. The cartels make this poison and send it across the border. The border violence is now coming across into the United States. The criminal cartels of Mexico is like a Fortune 500 company. I mean, the Jalisco cartels is in 42 countries now. These criminal cartels that smuggle this poison over across our border, it used to be about smuggling into the United States. Now they have a presence in every major city of this country. Now they're taking over the distribution network within the United States. They need to be attacked. They need to be wiped out. Absolutely.
Listen. We cannot have unsecure borders over in the United States of the Americas. It just is what it is. You're not going to let everybody come in and run up and ruin everything that this country is built off of. My biggest problem with different cultures coming in here, they think that we supposed to respect their culture. Try that over in the UAE. Try that over in Dubai. Try that over in the Middle Eastern countries. Go over there and tell them, hey, man, you got to respect my culture. They're going to be like, who are you talking to? Man, if you don't get in line, or you can get out. Either you can get in line or you can get out. What makes this country great is that we've established cultural norms that allow for us all to thrive. At the same time, I believe that you're going to have to adapt and you're going to have to acquiesce over to what we do here. We don't have to adjust to make you feel accommodated. I used to hate that. I used to absolutely. Have y'all ever dealt with, in my family, when we had company, we had to go through the whole house, do a super deep clean, make sure that we got the good plates out, adapted our environment to make them feel more comfortable when they was coming over to eat our food. And I never understood that. And I was like, it reminded me of people that fix their house up to sell it. So you gonna get your stuff together so somebody else can enjoy it? No, I'm gonna get this together for me. And when they come in, then they can adapt and then they can enjoy themselves or they cannot come. That's usually my sentiment. It's like, yes, I'm going to be a great host and I'm going to be accommodating, but I'm not going to change what it is that I do in order to make you feel good about what we do. I never understood that. Why are we getting out the good plates for them and I should be eating off the good plate? I live here every day. Why am I not getting off the good plate? Why is Xfinity and Comcast and these cable providers giving all of the incentives to people that's not even customers in order to entice them to come over when there's people here that's leaving every single day that you're not taking care of? I never understood that. Why you fixing up so you lived in squalor, but you fixing your house up to somebody else to be able to enjoy it instead of living in luxury? You clean your car so that other people can buy it instead of cleaning it so you can ride clean. So then we take America and we fix up America so other people can come in with size 12 shoes and say, my country. And then they come over here and then they be over here for one generation. And next thing you know, you got these politicians cowering. They going into their community saying, would you please vote for me? Yeah. If you put that flag up, if you do this, if you do that. It's because we ain't got no standards. And so since we let everybody come in, everybody and their mama can come in here and do what they want to do. And then y'all want to sit there and say, oh, man, I seen people during the election. First generation Haitian women. It's so divisive. I can't believe that J.D. Vance is saying what he's saying, and my people don't eat dogs, and I'm going to get all of my Haitian friends to vote against Trump and J.D. Vance. Like, who you talking to? You just got here. You still wet behind the ears, still got Similac on your breath. Your parents can't even vote. You one step away from getting your parents deported. You gonna sit here and talk? You should be thankful. You should be thankful of being in this country. The fact that you have been able to leverage our tax dollars in order to get educated because your daddy wasn't supposed to be here and your mama is supposed to be over there in Haiti with barbecue in them. You finally got an opportunity. You know what I do when I wake up every morning? This is the honest to God truth. When I was in the shower this morning, I did it multiple times. So I was in the shower this morning and I was taking a shower and I was getting ready to come into the studio and I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. That's what I said. All I can say, I had a little praise break. I'm going to be honest with you. I had a little praise break. There was a little Dietrich Haddon had came on, and then right after that, Kenton Jones had came on, and I had a little praise break, and I ain't asked God for nothing. I ain't prayed to him. I ain't do nothing. I just put my head down. I put my hands out, and I said, thank you, Jesus. I could have been born anywhere in the world, but I'm here in the United States of America. I could be doing anything, and I know it's a lot of people that complain about what they got to do on a day-to-day basis, but I absolutely 100% am thankful for my job and the things that you do. It's other people that got more than me, but I'm thankful for what I have. Because it's 1,000 million people that are killed to be in a position that I am. I'm thankful for every single blessing. I'm not looking at what I don't have. I'm looking at what you did bless me with, and I'm going to make the most of it. I don't care about the hand that I'm dealt. I'm going to make the most of this. Every day, I don't get haughty. I don't sit there and say what I deserve. I'm thankful, and I'm willing to work for every single thing that I got. You know, I put out that post the other day. Sorry, let me just go on a little bit of a rant for a second. Just give me a minute, y'all. Let me rock. Just let me rock. I put out I chopped up because people was like, Anton, put out the thing for you hiring and stuff like that. And I put it out. And I said, all right, so listen, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that basically is a jack of all trades. You come in, you learn up under me. I can teach you everything you know. Eventually, you might even decide that you want to take the information and make it your own. You basically going to get a first-hand account of being able to basically work for me, but you're going to make 6 figures. I'm willing to pay somebody $100,000 a year to come in and basically be an extension of me. All of the templates is already basically put together for you to be able to make quick thumbnails. I'm going to teach you how to do it efficiently. I'm going to teach you how to run multiple different channels. Hey, I need a producer. I need somebody to be able to do thumbnails. I need somebody to be able to do editing videos. I can teach you how to edit videos quickly. I have other people that's editing on the team that could also bring you in and show you how to be able to do this more efficiently. Hey, I need somebody to be able to produce, put this together, the stuff that I can pick through, and because I'm growing the company, I pay all over $100,000 a year just to start. Do you know that it was people in the comments of that video that sat there and told me, they ain't got a pot to piss in, ain't got a piece of experience to ever, and gonna they sitting there, hey, I ain't never did that before, but I'm willing to learn, but I ain't doing it for less than $175,000. Nigga, who is you? Hoppo, where they get this dude from? Boeing is laying off over there, right? Shit, that's a $250,000 job. Nigga, where? I know what they making over there at Fox News. I got buddies that work over at CNN. I have people that work over there in New York. And they at the studios and they don't even pay close to what I'm paying. They getting them in there to make sure that they can get their resumes up by saying, hey, I produced for this, or I worked on this, or I'm associated with this. Man, get the hell out of here, bro. It's people that sat there and was basically spitting on it. And I said, the first thing I thought to myself, honest to God, and I'm being absolutely transparent with y'all. The first thing I thought to myself is, I don't even need you. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody at all. I could run this whole thing. It's already set up every single day for me to run it by myself. I'm doing it because I'd love to give some money and put somebody in a position to make sure that they be successful, and they'll be able to hopefully at some point add as much value into what I'm doing, and I can add value into their life, and it's a reciprocation. We both are blessed. You help me, we grow. You get the experience, you get the money. You also can grow within the company or whatever. I'm building this empire. And people sitting up there spitting on it like I offered them $12 an hour, like I'm offering a minimum wage. I said, man, you start off at $108,000. 108, starting off with perks, company computer, company phone, maybe even a company car, depending on, and I give you relocation services. People sitting up there talking to me like they got some skills, like you actually graduated. Nigga, like you wasn't a D student. Like you ain't a D student. I'm up here sitting there humble. God, thank you for blessing me. What is it that I can do for other people? How can I make my life easier while also adding value into other people's lives? And people sitting up there talking junk to me like, what? What? But it's because we got that haughty spirit. That's why you be getting replaced. That's why you can't get the job that you want, because you got that haughty spirit. You haughty. That's why you can't get the man that you want. That's why the woman that you want is bypassing you. You got a haughty spirit within you. And I'm not telling you to not have confidence, but I'm telling you that humility is the key to success, especially when you bowing to God. And so every day when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, man, God, I just can't believe it. Young dude from Detroit, getting to it, running it up. I remember I did a pitch of business last year, because anybody that know me as a part of the Bag Chasers, you know what I do, and I'm going to move over to the show. You know that what I do is pretty much every year towards the end of the year, I do an Invest in Your Business series. And so basically I allocate somewhere around $30,000 a year. And I say, people, leverage the information that I've been giving you all the side of the Patreon, but I'm going to also let you pitch your business to me. And I'm going to fund y'all businesses. And I don't want no equity into it. I don't even follow up with people to check to see how they're doing. I just be like, hey, listen, whatever it is that you're doing, I sent some people $2,000. I sent one person $10,000. I sent other people $500, just because I like what they got going on, and they don't necessarily need me, but I just want to support their business or whatever like that. Some people got $1,000, some people got $2,000. Last year I spent like $20-something thousand just funding people's businesses and stuff like that. And I had a couple people that was like, I thought you was gonna give me more. I don't know about this. I thought you was gonna give me more. I gave you 2 bands. For free. I can't, man. I can't, bro. I can't. Sometimes, and I understand that you can't put everybody in the same category because it could be a few bad apples that'll ruin the whole bunch. But I'm trying to tell you, this ain't even got nothing to do with me. This has something to do with your mentality. Just as important as your skill set, just as important as your work ethic is your mentality. Your mentality is going to keep you because your character, listen, your character and your talent and your work ethic have to align. All three. With one of them missing, something is going to go wrong. You're not going to get as much money as you're supposed to have, and you don't know that you didn't get as much money as you're supposed to have because they didn't tell you that they had this blessing waiting for you at the end of the rainbow. You just didn't get to the blessing. You never got to the blessing, ever. And so when opportunity comes knocking at me, I could be at this level right here. And then they be like, Anton, we want you to come on, or we want you to come in, and Anton, can you do this? And I want you to be able to do this program or whatever. How much is, hey, I just want to add value. Hey, what can I do in order to be a help to what y'all got going on? And then they be questioning, and they be like, well, why you keep doing so much for us, but you're not asking nothing? Listen, the relationship is more important than anything I get on the front end. I play the long game. I'm in the rooms with the people. I'm in the biggest rooms. You may not know it because I don't show y'all that. I'm in the biggest rooms with the biggest people. I don't have to talk about it. It's really real. I'm in the biggest rooms with the biggest people. Judges, everything. I'm in the biggest rooms with the biggest people. Everybody that you can think of that is somebody in this state. I'm in that room. I have their personal phone number. I can make a phone call. My daughter can't even get a ticket without them finding out and saying, hey, man, wait a minute. What'd they give you a ticket for? But it's because I have the right attitude. I have the right attitude. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with you. I ain't got to argue with you. You sitting there telling me to pull up, boy, I can make a difference in your sentencing. I know you got a court date coming up. They told me about it. I'll make a difference in your sentencing. You talking tough. Boy, I can get you home right now, or I can get you 10 years. Which one you want? But it's that attitude. It's that mindset. You don't know who is who. You talking. You just talking. Got to change your mindset, y'all. Got to take y'all attitude. Got to change your mindset. Got to change your attitude. It'll change your life. You don't even know the blessings that you missed out on. Let me continue on with the show. People have no clue. Talking to a boss. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to come on. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes I got to give you that reality check. Shout out to my dog, Philip Sadiq. I appreciate you. Philly Fox says, join the bag chasers was going through the old class. Was delighted you talk about buy, borrow, die. Every penny I make goes into my brokerage. So happy. Oh, you know about that. So you've been looking at all of the legacy videos too. That means you're doing your work. Shout out to all of the bag chasers and everybody a part of the Patreon. All government organizations are terrorists because they operate on the threat of violence to maintain ordered society. Magnetar 17 says, I was ICE before ICE. I was there. Me, that's who. Tom the, oh yeah, he been there since the 80s. T-Mac says, some are scammers. I'm a Border Patrol agent in South Texas, and the other day caught a Venezuelan on a southbound train, and he said, NY cut money, and so he self-deported. Shout out to Mr. Henry, says, showing love, Anton, notice your eCam fan, would love to design some custom eCam work for you. Sent you an email with more details. Let's connect. R. Maurice, shout out to R. Maurice. Bag chaser here. In order to get off of any mental plantation, especially the Democratic one, people first need to learn how to think. Some don't have the mental capacity to learn. Too many distractions. I recommend books like Limitless, Think and Fast and Slow. Shout out to you. Shout out to my dog, R. Maurice. Courtney Egger, and I'm going to check that email too. Courtney Egger says, listen, I'm in Arizona. I'm willing to do it, especially learn to be better. It's a no-brainer for me. Rico champion. I think I'm about to put that position on hold, man. I had a bad attitude after reading some of those emails and those comments. Rico champion says, can I remote work from Cincinnati? I'll do it ASAP. Nope. Tech coach Ralph says 80 invested at least 500 in everyone who presented, even if they had terrible ideas. That's a fact. See, that's the part that they don't tell them. Oshkosh Worldwide says, some people are a trip. Please make a clip from your live the other night of the sister saying black folks are the... Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry about it. It's coming. It's already scheduled to go out. Update, I got that email. Boeing layoff 3 months. Really? 3 months severance, but I wanted to tell you how your method worked for me. Hey, Daddy Day Trips, email me. I want to talk to you. Hopefully I can bring you on the show tomorrow. Democrats email me, Daddy Day Trips. Democrats allowed this promise entitlement for years. Look at us now, still begging. Still at the bottom, talking about what we deserve. Good morning, AD and everyone else. I would have took that 100 and experience. Shout out to Amen. Jay, I just put the position on hold for a minute. Hey, boss, I'll work for that position between $23, $25 an hour until I gain the experience I need and up to my pay, etc. And I grow. Shout out to Jay Rader. AD, did you hear the Spirit about to file? That Spirit is about to file for bankruptcy and they ban flights to Haiti. I already had told people that was going to happen inside of Stock Club months ago. Go back and look at Stock Club and look at when I was going over the hospitality and the airline industry. And I already had told people that this was about to happen a long time ago. I already was telling people that this was... Annie Marie says, character and... Shout out to you, Annie Marie. Shout out to you for the super sticker. Tab says, I cried watching you bless other people last year. It was crazy, wasn't it? Always looking out for people. David says, hey, big bro, if the offer is still on the table, I would love to be a part of what you create and learn from me. I would gladly work for free, gain knowledge and experience for the pro. It's priceless. We'll kick it. I'll figure it out. I got to figure out if I even want to still do it. I got to figure out if I even... You was there. You was in Stock Club. Sabrina was in Stock Club. I already said what was going to happen. I knew exactly what was going to happen to Spirit. I knew exactly what was going to happen to all of these different airlines. And that's why I was telling my people, hey, Anton with Spirit is deciding that they want to merge with Frontier. I told my people, I said, stay away from that. Stay away from that. Stay away from that. Don't do it. But if y'all not a part of the Patreon, you might have lost some money. Vivek has recently spoke on joining Elon Musk as a part of the Government Efficiency Agency, or whatever it is, Department of Government Efficiency. And he spoke on it on Fox News. Check it out.
All right, President-elect Trump continues to make key appointments for his next administration. Now, yesterday he announced that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk would lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Earlier today, Vivek took to Twitter saying in part, quote, if we're ever going to crush the bureaucracy, it's going to happen from the outside. Just the hard truth. And today, the department's X account was launched with a tweet saying, quote, working overtime to ensure that your tax dollars will be spent wisely. Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now. All right, so you're partnering with the smartest guy in the country. There's no doubt about it. And the richest guy. But you look at Elon Musk, and he's a genius. If you can figure out a way to go save those astronauts that are lost in space, God bless you. I could never figure that out in 500 lifetimes. So I admire that. He's talking about $2 billion in cuts by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse.
Doug Dub says, I'd rather have Vivek than Elon Musk auditing the government. Big conflict of interest. Why? They both businessmen. How is it a conflict of interest? I don't really care. I just want the government audited all across the board. I want every single branch audited. Then I want them to start with each state, and then I want to go into the cities.
Is that a realistic number? That's a big number.
Yeah, $2 billion isn't a big number, but $2 trillion is, Sean, and that's what we're looking at here. Look,
$2 trillion. I stand corrected.
No, I want to be very clear about the scale. I want to be very clear about the scale that we're thinking here. We're not thinking small. We're playing big here because we have a once-in-a-generation mandate right now. The American people have voted for drastic reform of the government, and our federal government is broken. It's no secret that it is a fourth branch of government, the administrative state that makes most of the rules, that creates a federal bureaucracy that's hampering our economy. So what do we want to do? We want to go in and slash and burn that bureaucracy, to help Americans, stimulate the economy, and to restore self-governance again, Sean. The people we elect to run the government, they're not even the ones who run the government anymore. It's these unelected bureaucrats. Republican politicians have talked about fixing this for a long time, not with a lot of progress. So I do think it's going to take a couple of outsiders. Elon and I have built a great friendship over the last year. We're working together intensely, and we're not going to stop till we get the job done.
Did y'all hear what he said? Elon and I have built an incredible friendship over the last year, and we're going to work together, and we're not going to stop to get the job done. Let me tell you why this works, okay? From my lens as a person that looks at it from a business perspective. The reason why this works is because Vivek is a businessman that is successful, self-made, outsider. Elon is a businessman that is successful, self-made, outsider, not a career politician. That's number one. Number two, Elon Musk is an expert at making things and putting things together and making sure that things are operating efficiently. One of his philosophies and the philosophy of Tesla, and I don't know it right off the top of my head, but it's a lot that has to do with if it doesn't deserve to be there or if it doesn't serve a purpose, then we got to get rid of it. We need to run efficiently. We need to increase margins. We don't need to have anything more than what we need in order to be successful, so on and so forth. So they run lean. One of the things that he did in Twitter, and they predicted that Twitter all of a sudden would crash and it wouldn't be working and all of that. Twitter is running, or X, formerly known as Twitter, is running better. It has gotten bigger. It has a better audience. And the first thing that he did was get rid of all of that bloat and all of the people in there that was hiding. They had masseuses. They had all of this stuff. And he ran more efficiently than ever before. And he's actually profitable for the first time on X. And Twitter had never been profitable since its inception. But here's how it benefits to have both. Because some people said you only want one. No, I think that it benefits to have both. A, they have a great friendship. B, they look at things from a business perspective, but they both serve from different perspectives. But here's the caveat. Elon Musk, I don't think that he has the full capacity, but I think that he has the mindset to understand exactly what you need to look for in order to create government efficiency. Vivek, dedicating himself 100% to the job, can execute on not only his own vision, but also Elon Musk's expertise because he understands things from a business perspective. This is a match made in heaven. A person that was potentially going to run to be president of the United States of America in Vivek, an expert businessman, but the person that was running for president of the United States of America ran from a business perspective. He can execute not only on his own vision, but also in partnership with Elon Musk. He has the resources, and then they can go in with no kind of agenda because they're not lifetime politicians and create government efficiency, which would trim the national debt and hopefully get rid of over $2 trillion worth of bloat. What more do you want from these guys?
When Ronald Reagan became president, on the issue of defense, he called it a gap of vulnerability. China, Russia, they have hypersonic missile technology. We do not. We're going to have to spend a lot of money on defense to catch up and to surpass our enemies. Social Security, Medicare are headed towards insolvency. We'll have to spend money there. To me, that money is going to be made up through energy dominance. That's where I think our greatest opportunity is. Your thoughts?
Look, part of what's holding back energy dominance in this country is that administrative state. Look at the regulations coming out of the Department of Interior, the slow permitting requirements, how hard it is to open a new refinery. So I think that is the root cause of our failure as a country, is this unelected fourth branch of government. And I think they look at elected officials as these cute little puppets that come and go every little while. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump's the president. He has mandated us for radical, drastic reform of this federal bureaucracy with the learnings of that first term. And you look, Elon and Elon's solving major problems of physics. I came from the world of biology. What we're solving here now is not a natural problem. This is a man-made problem. And when you have a man-made problem, you better darn well have a man-made solution. That's what we're bringing to the table. We're assembling the brightest minds in the country. This is the equivalent of a modern Manhattan Project to take on, I think, the major problem holding our country back. It's the federal bureaucracy. Target that cost, save the money, restore self-governance. And Sean, I think we did something pretty novel here, if I may say so. If I just want to say is this Department of Government Efficiency, it is built with an end date. We want to be done by July 4th, 2026. So for the first time in history, creating a department, creating a new government project that is designed to end when its work is complete. That's on the 250th anniversary of America's Declaration of Independence. And that's the gift we want to give this country on that birthday.
They don't even want to sit there and hold on to positions and then leverage that in order to continue to have lifetime positions for the people that's assembled in order to solve for this problem. Dog, what more do you want from these guys? They are basically giving back. You got Iron Man and whoever else, Iron Man and Bruce Banner without, but the other Bruce that's just smart without the rage, the Hulk rage. You got Iron Man and Bruce Banner that came together in order to solve for a problem, and they said, listen, and this ain't gonna be forever. 2026, we're gonna be done with this, is the target date, and we want to pare all of this down, get all of this, root out all of this waste, hopefully save the country $2 trillion a year, and then be done with this by 2026 and move on with our lives and go accomplish other things. What more do you want from this guy? This is what draining the swamp looks like.
Well, I hope Congress adopts your recommendations. They did not do so in the Reagan years with the Grace Commission. What are the first things you're going to look at?
Look, we got a long list, and a lot of this is to stay tuned for what's coming on January 20th, because some of this we do want to come as in a big way swinging on day one. But I'll give you some examples, Sean. Most federal employees right now, most Americans don't recognize this. They don't even show up to work. So if you tell people you have to affirm that you want a job, that you have to show up to work 5 days a week, how many of those employees are going to quit right out the gate? That's a question we should ask. Those are the kinds of inefficiencies, low-hanging fruit, that Democrats and Republicans or black or white Americans alike can agree on. We should not be wasting that kind of money as a federal government. And so in that sense, tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
I have less than a minute, but I think part of it has to be baseline budgeting, eliminate the built-in increases every year that we have for every department. I think getting rid of the Department of Education, giving that money directly to states, or maybe adopting something like the penny plan. Maybe.
Somebody said, didn't Tony start the end games war? Nope, he didn't. Tony was right about building a thing in order to prevent the... Listen. They were already coming. I'm not about to get into the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not doing that. We're going to focus.
It's the nickel plan where you cut, a nickel out of every dollar every year for 5 years. You balance the budget, which has not been done since Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House. You have about 30 seconds.
Well, funny enough, Sean, actually much of our spending is even for programs whose authorization has lapsed. So the authorization to spend the money, the appropriation has lapsed, and yet still the money still goes out the door. That's how broken the bureaucracy is. So I think it's going to take a couple of business guys to come in, do this from the outside. We're going to have fun while we're at it. It's going to be the most transparent effort. We're certainly aiming to make this a transparent process so the American people can see how their money is being wasted. So we're all in it on the same team to fix it. I can't wait for Donald Trump to get back in that White House on January 20th. He's given us a broad mandate with his full support to get this done. I'm grateful to him for that, and Elon and I are pretty excited to get started.
Let me break this down, and shout out to the Cartier family. I love them. They are great content creators. I absolutely watch their stuff, and they're phenomenal. I love the Cartier family, all right? I'm subscribed to their stuff and all of that. Let me say this. In corporate America, this is what happens, okay? What happens is the budgets are allocated based off of what's used. Okay, so let me break it down like this. I work for a bank. In that banking system, they have different departments, okay? Which includes maybe a technology department that then have sub-departments that need resources from the bank in order to continue to add value and keep the bank up and running. You got branches, upper management, mortgage, services, IT services, innovation, research and development, all of these different departments, right? Now, at the end of the fiscal year or going into the next fiscal year, how do they determine what kind of budget do they allocate to different departments? Well, one of the things that they do is they have a timekeeping system, not necessarily to prevent you from getting paid, but to determine exactly how much it's costing them every single week, every single month, and every single quarter of how much money is coming into the bank and how much they have to allocate to different departments. Well, your managers are going to say, hey, make sure you get your time in. Make sure you get your time in. Now, you're going to get your paycheck no matter what. They say, hey, make sure you bill to this particular project. And make sure you put this inside of this particular project. And make sure you bucket this amount of money, this amount of time in this particular project. Make sure you get your time in. Make sure you get your time in. Why? Because if you are not absolutely capturing your time in these systems, then at the end of the fiscal year, they then say, hey, y'all didn't even need that much money over there for what y'all doing. We need to take some money from over here, and then we're going to put it over there, or this is how much we're going to save for the bank, and then they start to develop their budgets based off of how much money they think is going to be allocated to different departments. So now the directors and the managers and the me's can go back and they can say, well, listen, no. We need 10 people from this department. We need this budget, we need this budget, because this is how much it's going to cost us, or this is how much we need to allocate in order to deploy this project. This is how much it's going to cost us to be able to develop this new app, whatever, so on and so forth, right? So they're just going based off of the numbers, the data, what's being input to then advocate for getting the budget to hire new people or keep that department open. Because why? Because it's not so much about whether or not you're doing things great for the bank or the corporate environment. It's more about whether or not you allocate monies to keep people's jobs. Because we're humans. We got the human element in it. Oh, man, I need to make sure that I got everybody's job. I got 7 employees, 3 contractors, 10 people. Hey, listen, don't worry about it. I'm going to make sure that we advocate for that budget. Make sure y'all get y'all time in or whatever, so on and so forth. That way we can go in and say, hey, we actually operating under capacity and we still getting a lot done. Let me make sure I keep that budget. It's also about keeping a department open. It's also about keeping jobs. It's also about justifying why you should still be there. And so what we see in the government is that times 1,000. Because the government is more or less focused on making sure that they get budget allocation than they are about creating efficiency and adding value into the United States of America. So then what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy would do, they go in and say, hey, wait a minute. Y'all just billing and y'all just charging money, but what value do you actually add into the federal government? Because it's different when you're talking about a private company or a publicly traded company. We talking about something that's being supported by American tax dollars. You operate much more efficient when you operate in a small business. You operate much more efficient when you got to answer the chairman. But the federal government don't have to answer to anybody, which is why you've never seen any department that's been created finish the job and then be dismantled and they go their separate ways. Why? Because they're more focused on making sure that they allocate for the budget instead of being focused on whether or not they're actually doing a job and creating efficiency within the government. And so now when we say all of these jobs are being added in the quarter of October and this and that and so on and so forth, they've added this many government jobs, but not this many private equity jobs. That's why you see places like the Postal Service not turning a profit whatsoever, but they keep taking advantage of taxpayer dollars. Nowhere near as efficient as maybe an Amazon, a FedEx, a UPS, because they're not a private business. They're supported by taxpayers, so they know that y'all always going to be able to give them money. Why would they have to create government efficiency? Why would they have to speed up the process of getting better vehicles? Amazon and rolled out a whole bunch of electric vehicles made by Rivian way faster than we can allocate all of the budget that they've created in order to create EV vehicles. They still riding around in these busted vans, delivering mail, created no efficiencies. Why? Because they don't have any incentive to do so, because all they can do is say, hey, we want more money. We don't have to be profitable. We don't have to be efficient. We are needed by the government. We have to be here. And so what you need is somebody that's from the outside to come in and run it like a business, because it's your money, your taxpayer dollars that's going out. That's why they're able to build homeless shelters to the tune of $500 million, $165 million, $600,000 per unit over in California. They allocating your monies towards permanent homeless places that cost $600,000 per unit. Well, they ain't never had to justify it because they could just tax you more and take more of your money and then say, hey, we got a budget deficit. We're going to fill that gap by taxing more money, more property taxes, so on and so forth. Somebody said the Postal Service does not use government funds. Oh, yeah? You sure about that? Interesting. Okay. You know, I'm always open to being wrong. I'm always open to being wrong. I have no problem whatsoever. Always want to make sure that I'm giving the right information and I'm not giving false information, all right? So let's deep dive into it. The government has provided some assistance to the United States Postal Service Reform Act of 2022. The 2020 CARES Act, the USPS received $10 billion in funding from this act. 2022, USPS received $3 billion in taxpayer funding in 2022 to purchase electric delivery trucks and charging. Oh, just like I just said, huh? Just like I just said. So, technically, they are supposed to be their own entity. But guess what? They still receive funds from the United States of America, your tax dollars, in order to supplement the fact that they are not a profitable entity. They 100% are receiving money from taxpayers. So technically you'll say, well, no. They just sell stamps and, you know, they just make sure that, you know, they sell P.O. boxes. Who you think funding these electric vehicles like I just said? Who you think funding these initiatives like I just said? I don't know, but like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be off. I'm always open to the possibility that I'm wrong, and I may be wrong. So I apologize if I'm wrong. Taxpayers do cover the pensions. Anyways, let's continue. I'm always open to being wrong. Always. Let's see. Chris Cunningham says, never invest in stocks that has engines. Amari says, DOGE is great for Vivek and Elon because they are already rich and can't be bought. Integrity is everything. I agree with that. Craig Carlton says, black veteran, retired military, government civilian, business owner, future YouTuber, bag chaser in 2025. What you waiting on, Craig? Y'all don't realize Tom Homan is cleaning up the borders, is going to help you level up. Love that. Love what you do, AD. Praise him. Shout out to Craig. The Sun says, Tony Stark and Reed Richards. Hey, Chase Barnes says, America's last action heroes. Man, what a time. It is a great time to be alive. Aaron L. says, I'm fine with most picks, but Gates needs to finish his investigation first. He retired before they could release the results of his pedo allegations. Death Note says, USPS use government funds but are highly subsidized by the sale of stamps and services. Listen. Of course they use government funds. They should not be subsidized. They should be able to operate as an entity by itself. Shout out to Nice for everything. I appreciate you for the super sticker. And Tab Marley says, I'm a mail carrier and we get paid from postage and services mainly, but to be honest, the post office is broke. Let's continue on with the show. All right. Tulsi Gabbard. I'm a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. She's now been named as the Director of National Intelligence. And this is her thoughts in her interview to describe exactly how she feels about it and what's happening within the Trump administration. Hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
What an exciting time to be alive. Here now, newly nominated Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Well, first of all, congratulations, Tulsi. We're all very proud of you. Take us into the room or the airplane when this was offered to you. How did it go down?
We had a great conversation and talked a little bit about the work that needs to be done. And I was grateful and honored to accept President Trump's offer to serve our country and support his objective to defend the safety, security, and freedom of the American people as the Director of National Intelligence.
How do you?
One thing you can't say about Trump is that he's not loyal. Second things that you can't say about Tulsi Gabbard is that she was the absolute. Hey, in the end, did she not beat Kamala Harris? In the end, when all of the dust fell out. Remember when Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard was debating back and forth, and Tulsi absolutely shut her down and ended any hope that she had to become president of the United States of America, and that moment still came back and haunted her? And that moment came back and haunted her. This was when Tulsi was actually running as a Democrat, right? And then when it all came back down, y'all thought that Kamala Harris won because she was a DEI pick for the Vice President of the United States of America. Tulsi said, I see you won. I switch political parties because I don't like the way that the Democratic Party is operating right now. Trump recruited RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, one of the most intelligent people that I've ever seen in my entire life. And then she switched over, and now she's the Director of National Intelligence. Let me give a round of applause for the women that's playing chess, not checkers. She's rogue. She playing rogue, not Storm AD. Okay, I'm sorry. She playing chess, not checkers. I know that much. Listen, she switched parties and won. Trump knows intelligent women, unlike Mark Cuban. Where's Mark Cuban at? Did Mark Cuban make any comment about what happened during the election, or did he just go back into his hole and kept rooting for the Dallas Mavericks? Trump surrounded himself with some of the most intelligent women ever. He even picked them up from the Democratic Party and said, hey, Tulsi, come on over here with us. It's the winning team.
I think foreign capitals are taking your nomination and the nomination of other people in the national security apparatus.
It's a good question. I think President Trump has already shown how active he has been in not waiting around for day one on January 20th or 21st, but he's already leading. He's already engaging with so many of these world leaders around the world on the phone constantly, and he's showing the kind of leadership that the American people voted for.
Do you expect resistance from the inside? Because there was a lot of resistance in the first term, and how would you deal with that?
The American people delivered quite an incredible mandate for change in this election, with the popular vote and the electoral vote overwhelmingly saying, hey, we want Donald Trump as president, and we've had enough of the Harris-Biden regime. Of course, there's going to be resistance to change from the swamp in Washington. I think that's kind of the point. The American people are saying, hey, stop looking at yourselves, stop focusing on your own power, your own position, your own bank accounts. How about we have leaders in Washington who are actually looking out for the American people? And on every issue across the board, that's really what it comes down to with what President Trump is trying to accomplish is we have to make sure that our government puts the interests of the American people first.
How did you think the Biden meeting went today?
It was interesting to see that Biden didn't seem to be able to stop smiling. For them to have sat there for what she said a couple hours and good. I'm glad that they sat there. They had a seemingly good conversation. President Trump, I'm sure, is eager to get to work and glad to be back there.
What do you think Kamala is thinking right now?
I can't even begin to venture how she's feeling right now. The amazing thing is what I hope the American people are feeling is a sense of.
What do y'all think that Kamala is feeling right now? Because Trump has actually been a gracious winner. Everybody that's a part of Trump's administration has been a gracious winner. When Kamala Harris and Biden and all of the Democrats, they weaponize the federal government in order to try to prevent Trump from ever running again. And they got Letitia James, and they got Fonnie Willis down there in Georgia, and they weaponized it, and they tried to play checkers. They tried to play chess. They are absolutely gracious winners. Nobody is trying to stop Kamala Harris from running again. We actually want her to run again.
Hope and frankly, Jesse,
He even offered to pay off her $20 million debt. But they too prideful. They're going to steal all of their money from the people.
I've been heartened to see how engaged people continue to be, even though the election is over, that they're really looking forward to making sure that their voices are continued to be heard as we go through these next couple of months, as President Trump takes office, as he begins to lead this significant change in our government. To me, this is what an active and thriving democratic republic looks like. It's not just centered around an election every 2 years or every 4 years. It's going to continue to require an active populace in this country in order to bring about this kind of change that makes sure we have truly a government of, by, and for the people.
And you're going to be very active working alongside this team. You got Waltz, you got Radcliffe, you got Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio. How excited are you, and what are the plans?
I think a lot of us, I think we're all eager to get to work. There is so much to be done.
Yeah, January 20th
meetings have already begun. President Trump is leading the charge in making sure that on day zero, once he takes that oath again on January 20th, that we're all chomping at the bit.
That's great. I mean, that's why people are so excited. You can feel it. You can smell it in the air almost.
It's exciting time.
It's almost distracting because people can't wait to get started and see what you guys are going to be up to. How are your Democrat colleagues taking it, or former Democrat friends? You know, you left the Democratic Party, you became a Republican. Now you are in a Republican administration. What's been the reaction from those people?
You know, Jesse, I'm actually pretty heartened. I've heard from some of my former Democrat colleagues who are still serving in office today, as well as some who've left and are no longer serving in the House or the Senate, reaching out and in what I hope could be and should be an effort for us to work together and put the American people first, to uphold, support, and defend the Constitution, and again, ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. This should be the objective of every single member of the House and the Senate.
Michelle, who do I make excuses for? I'm actually the accountability partner. Michelle, you know what, Michelle? I tell you what, I've been doing this a lot lately. Michelle, who do I make excuses for? I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You don't have to be online at all. This is for Michelle. Make sure I spell your name right. Michelle, if you want to call and help hold me accountable for who I make excuses for, that is you right there. All right? I just put that inside of the chat. That is for Michelle. Michelle, feel free to hold me accountable and tell me who I make excuses for.
Single person who works in our government. And so I was glad to hear from some of my former colleagues who I haven't heard from in a little while.
That's really nice. I mean, you'd expect that in a republic. You know, everybody wants to be safe.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be secure. It should be bipartisan. Do you expect to get the support from leading Democrats when you push an America First agenda through?
I would hope that we have elected leaders who have heard the American people in this election, even if it didn't turn out the way that they wanted, and recognize that this is our opportunity to come together as a country and put the American people first and work together in order to be able to accomplish that.
You don't have to be on camera, Michelle.
About putting the American people first. Tulsi Gabbard, I'm going to have to call you secretary now. I know you haven't been confirmed, but it's the polite thing to do. Director, excuse me. I can't even get it right. There's a lot of titles flying around. It's hard to keep track of. Thank you so much. Great to see you, and good luck.
Thanks, Jesse.
I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited. Tulsi. I'm absolutely excited for everybody that's a part of this administration to make some meaningful changes and to 100% transform what we think this country is supposed to be into what it is actually supposed to be. So let me give a round of applause to my baby Tulsi. Tulsi might have sprung up to the top of the list of the people that I would love to meet. Tulsi might have sprung to the top of the list of the people that I would love to meet. Man, it is so dark outside. I don't like that. It's raining. It's rain season. Michelle, did you get the link? Michelle, feel free to hit the link. I'm going to put that in there for you again. Michelle, just call in. You ain't got to be on camera or none of that. Just call in and let me know who I make excuses for. I'm curious. In the meantime, let me read a couple of the super chats and then we're going to go on. Shout out to Levi Apparel. I appreciate you, Levi Apparel. JC says, and NYC passengers of Uber, Lyft, and Yellow Cabs pay an extra fee to support public transportation because they've been in the red for decades. Drew says, if Biden and Harris really wanted to ensure a smooth transition for Trump, they would request that governors of Arizona, Texas, and California deploy the National Guard to the border and stop that flood from rushing in. Amari says Tulsi payback after being labeled a terrorist. The Sun says Tulsi is most likely first female president, to be honest. I'm going to have some, that's going to conflict me. It's funny, Trump is out producing an active administration, and Kamala said he'd rather run on a problem than ignoring her own. Brock, what up, Brock? I appreciate you. Pass love offering. Tulsi Gabbard is literally Valentina Allegra de Fontaine from the Marvel movies. They even have the same hair. Pull up her pic. I ain't got time. I'm behind, baby. Little Black Duck 2001 says, anyone else remember when Tulsi won delegates in 2020, but the DNC raised the requirements to keep her out of the last primary debates between Bernie and Biden? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Rashawn Irving says, Tulsi is so beautiful. If I was ever to go to another race, it would be her. American Voices says, please don't let anyone talk to you out of continuing to give and become other people's blessings. My son, 21, is an inspiring engineer, and I wish we lived closer. Where you live at, American Voices? Where you live at? Where you live at, American Voices? Michelle, I'm still waiting on you to call in. Shout out to my lady. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. I love you and I appreciate you. Let me continue on with the show. Let me just see something real quick. I got to make sure that I acknowledge any cash. Cartier Oliver says, one thing I bought while in monk mode is stock. Shout out to the cash appers. I appreciate you, Cartier Oliver. Jay Sanchez says, they said he was misogynistic. That is a lie. They said he hates military members. That's a lie. They said he was racist. That has been proven to be a lie. Joy Reid and Sonny Holston are losing their minds, and his appointments are awesome. I haven't done a Joy Reid reaction in a while. Maybe I'll do one today. Kakashi says, I'm watching the live stream at 175 speed to catch up. I'll come work for you. I'll even move back to Flint, Michigan. I'm in San Antonio, Texas right now. I got to think about that. I need to pray on it. I got to pray on opening up the position again because the people, they hurt my feelings. They hurt my little $108,000 feelings. They hurt my little $108,000 feelings. They say, that's baby money. The people said, that's baby money. I said, what? They say, yeah, we don't want it. They said, we take your little 108 and we spit on that. We hawk tour on that little 108,000. People hurt my feelings. Not more than they hurt AOC's feelings. So AOC was doing some self-reflection. Her and The View, since we got AOC and Sonny Holston up there, and they was doing some self-reflection, right? I actually believe that AOC is going to be the next person that they push to possibly run for president of the United States of America. Now, she's a feisty little thing. My daughter liked to call her a cat. She said AOC and the Hellcat got the same sounds. She said AOC and the Hellcat make the same sound when that supercharger wind up. She called them a cat. She said, Dad, I'm taking a cat today. That's the noise that she make. AOC a little feisty one. She a feisty one. So I don't know if she's ever going to actually be pushed into the nomination from Nancy Pelosi. However, her, Gavin Newsom, and maybe Kamala Harris, I believe those are the ones that's going to be fighting for the top of the ticket. But she's recently done a reflection and she asked her followers, she said, why did you guys vote for Trump? I just really want to know, especially if you voted for me also. Here's the View's assessment of the situation.
Progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted a question to her followers to try to make sense of last week's election results. Take a look.
If you voted for Donald Trump and me, or if you voted for Donald Trump and voted Democratic down ballot, I would really love to hear from you. This is not a place of judgment. I'm not gonna put your stuff on blast or anything like that or dunk on it. That's genuinely not the intent here. I actually want to learn from you. I want to hear what you were thinking, and I just want to hear from you. So if you did that, I don't even know if anybody like that is even watching this right now, but if you are, please fill out our little Q&A here and just tell me what your thought process was.
So the answers she received included that both...
I don't know why I'm thinking this right now, but this is honest to God. First thing that just came to my mind after seeing AOC say that is Alien versus Predator. I don't know why. For whatever reason, it's a lot of subconscious things that's happening all around me in the stream and stuff like that. First thing I was thinking of is AVP. Did y'all see AVP with Sanaa Lathan? Featuring Carrie is Sanaa Lathan. For whatever reason, as soon as that video ended, I was singing AVP. Let's continue on with the show.
AOC and who seem like outsiders more than DC establishment, and they both seem to care about the working class. Did any responses give you any insight? I don't know how many of the responses you've seen, so I'm asking me saying that I don't know. What did you see?
I did look. I saw some of them because I think a lot of us are trying to figure out how this happened, right? And how it was such a landslide, not only for the Electoral College, but also for the popular.
Sonny Holston always the one that want to talk first. Her big head.
Vote.
She got that Ozempic head.
And many voters who split their tickets pointed to two key things. Mm-hmm. They pointed to the economy and also the conflict in Gaza, because I think there were some protest votes in terms of the conflict in Gaza. I still don't believe.
Who the hell give a flying F when they was voting? Man, look, man, I just can't believe how disconnected the Democrats are. They are so off.
Believe that this was about the price of eggs, because if it were about the price of eggs and the price of gas, I mean, Trump didn't address those during his rally. He didn't address those during his campaign. He did address a microphone in a sexually explicit way, but he didn't do any of these things. And so I don't know that Democrats need to do a postmortem.
Well, Trump didn't have to necessarily address it because we actually lived it during his administration for 4 years. I think that Sonny Holston is the worst person that I've ever seen in my entire life. Sonny Holston is the new... What's a woman that just couldn't get right? That just kind of faded away and disappeared. Oh, the one that said that she wouldn't date a bus driver. Remember when she just couldn't catch a break, and every single time she appeared on a live stream or on a podcast or the now fired position that she had over at my man's network? What was the name of the woman that said that she would never date a bus driver when she was talking to Ayanna Van Zandt? That's who she is. What's the name of that woman? Somebody tell me what the name of that woman was. She's now the internet version of whatever that woman was because she just had a hard... Ebony K. Williams. Thank you, Chad. Ebony K. Williams. She is now the Ebony K. Williams of the internet because everybody don't like Sonny Holston. Don't nobody like Sonny no more.
Because, again, Republicans, after their devastating loss in 2020, didn't do a postmortem. They didn't do a postmortem after January 6th. In fact, they put forward the same exact candidate. They ran the same type of campaign of otherism and demonization. And
the question was, did you read the responses that the people gave the AOC? And she's still railing about why they lost.
Just fine, because they're back in office. And so I think people are starting to have a little bit of buyer's remorse. We actually have a graphic on the morning of Election Day. Yes, on November 5th, before the polls were even closed, Google Trends saw a spike in searches for how to change my vote. Guess what? You can't change your vote. Also, in states with high search interest, Idaho, Kansas, Nebraska, your hometown of Iowa, Alabama, all states won by Trump. So when we say
look at her. Hey, look how she got looked at.
Alabama, all states won by Trump.
Look at all of the women looking at her. This woman cannot read the room to save her life. All of the women on there, and all of them voted Democrat, is looking at her like, you is a dumb fool. You's a fool if I've never seen one before in my entire life.
So when we say your vote is your power, we mean it. And I think people are realizing that they have a little buyer's remorse now.
I would say major kudos to AOC. I think the best thing I could hear from a politician, left, right, or center, is I want to understand you about the voting public. And I'm in that boat where I want to understand what drove Republicans to Trump, what drove Democrats where they are. And what I keep coming away from, based on everything I'm reading and folks I'm talking to, is the old James Carville quote, "It's the economy, stupid." And every time that people hear elites, whether it's Goldman Sachs analysts or elected members of Congress saying the economy is actually doing better than you think, I'm sorry, no one knows how much money they have and how to stretch the value of a dollar better than a single mom or a dad trying to provide for his family who's struggling to make ends meet. That is just the reality. So people get offended when they kept hearing, no, things are actually better. Things are actually better than you think they are. And well, the macro trends of the economy may very well be good. If you don't have money in the stock market, if you don't have a fancy retirement account and you're just trying to get by, people know that they had more money 5 years ago. They probably think Trump's a jerk. They might not like how he talks about people, but they're voting on, I'm working harder than I ever have been, and I'm still not getting ahead. And I respect those people, and I respect their vote. And
I think that it's hard to have a post-mortem.
Hold on.
Respect their vote. And I think
Is Whoopi on there with house shoes on and white socks? Like Debo? Hold on. So Whoopi pulled up to the View. Now that woman was absolutely right. Whoopi pulled up to the View like Debo. Come on, Whoopi. You don't even try no more. Whoopi don't even try no more. I bet you Whoopi don't even brush her teeth when she get out the bed no more. She pulled up like Debo. She pulled up like Ice Cube on Friday. Whoopi got on white socks and black, and she might as well have on Air Force Ones. What is wrong with Whoopi? So she didn't know that she was going to be sitting at the end of the table with the wide camera view, and that they would. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, she just rolled out of bed, no makeup, no teeth brush, no nothing. She just said, we going. Hey, Whoopi pulled up like I pulled up at the beginning of the live stream with a white beater on. Oh, man. Oh, Whoopi ain't got no uniform on or nothing. I pulled up with the white beater by mistake. Whoopi pulled up intentionally like this.
I think that it's hard to have a post-mortem after 2020 for the Republicans for a loss that they never admitted, right?
Well, yes.
First thing you got to do in order to figure out why you lost is admit you lost.
That's what they decided to do. Yeah.
To me, this that AOC did is incredibly productive. And yesterday we were talking about Nancy Pelosi and her I told you so's and the firing squad going on the Democratic side, blaming Joe Biden, who's not going to be part of the presidential conversation in 4 years, blaming celebrities, blaming this, blaming that. To me, this is constructive and looking forward. And I think that they should look at Elise Slotkin, who won Michigan by 1.7% higher than Kamala Harris lost it by. Tammy Baldwin, she won Wisconsin by 2% higher than Kamala Harris lost it by. Ruben Gallego, he won Arizona by 7% higher than margin between him and Kamala Harris. Jackie Rosen in Nevada, 4.5%. So find out from them what they were saying that worked, that didn't work on the national.
Well, and when you say, Sonny, about the not having a postmortem, because look at what they've done, I would never model myself after what they've done. They may have won.
They're winning.
No, they may have won, but that does not change, as Kamala Harris said, my values and what I vote for. And so whenever.
But these people didn't vote for character.
Why does Sonny always interrupt her? Every single time. Sonny interrupts her every single time that she talks. Every time that I've done a review video on this stupid show, Sonny is the one that interrupts, and she always talking with her eyes closed like this.
No, they didn't, but I did. And that's why I would say that when I see things that are out of touch with what I thought was going on, I will always look inward. It is just the way I am. It's what I learned in church. It's what I learned from my parents. So I will not change my viewpoint because it didn't win this election, but I will open my ears to people that said, I have issues too, and they're different from yours, and this is why. And I think that's why what she did was so important, because she and Donald Trump are rarely put in the same sentence. And the fact that she got responses of people saying, you both seem to care about the working class. We sit here not voting for Donald Trump saying, huh? Yeah. But like, there's a point there because there were millions and millions of people that felt heard. And that's what I'm trying to lock into. It won't change my stance, or maybe it will. I'm open to someone trying to convince me.
That Donald Trump is good for people?
If that's what you're hearing, you're missing my whole point.
I am.
So my bigger point here is that I am listening to a lot of people. This will not be the end of anything I want to fight for, but I will look back because I've played sports through college, and you never ignored the tapes of the game and just said they cheated. Like you look at the game, you assess it, and you go forward.
You know what else, though? People.
Ooh, she is hurt. Hey, why the cameraman keep going to Sonny? Hey, Sonny, honey. Honey, Sonny, my honey. Hey, Sonny, I'm about to make Sonny my profile picture for the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm telling you. My profile picture or my banner on my page is about to change to Sonny hosting. I never had an interest in having Sonny hosting, but I would love to change my profile picture and my banner to that. Sonny, this ain't what you want. This ain't what you want, baby.
People know they're Congress people. People know they're senators. And a lot of people kept saying that they didn't know Kamala. So people who are going to run again in 4 years, they better start getting known, particularly in the swing states, in addition to the primary states.
I'm sorry, when you have one candidate who has been running for 12 years, who lies and changes things, I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person, you know? And my kid has to feed her family. You know, and my great-granddaughter has to be fed by her family. I know it's hard out there, but I also know that there are a lot of things that we just said, no, I'm just gonna go this way.
Hold on. Give me a second. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get some Whoopi in it. Did Whoopi just say what I thought she said? Estimated that Whoopi Goldberg makes between $5 and $6 million a year. Did Whoopi literally just say that she understands that she can relate to people because she a working person like everybody else? Man, get the hell. Look. Look. What is going on with these people? This is why y'all lost the election. This is why you lost the election. And I didn't even notice she said that. I literally Googled it, and this is from 2 hours ago. People is already pissed off and saying, man, Whoopi Goldberg just said that she understand what we going through. Is something wrong with her? She is not the working class. Whoopi been getting money for years. Goldberg, who rose to fame in the 80s as a comedian before landing through breakthrough roles on film and Broadway, has hosted The View since 2007. She has been hosting The View since 2007, and she's estimated to be making between $5 and $6 million a year. What? Okay, so then just tell me you bad with money without telling me you bad with money. Tell me you bad with money without telling me you bad with money. Dog, you get paid to host a talk show every day. You get paid to host she probably make more than that. This is probably underestimated. You get paid you have one of the best jobs in the world. I can't stand, that's why I was telling y'all earlier in this show that I got an appreciation, and when I was in the shower this morning, I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, 100%. Because I'm not even going to pretend like I can even relate. I'm not even going to pretend like I can even relate. I just bought a Cybertruck just for the sake of buying a Cybertruck yesterday. Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday said, it's on its way in time. Make sure you check it. I make so much money, it's insane. If anybody is a part of the Patreon, and you've seen any of my check stubs, you've seen my wires, you've seen what I make, you've seen my video where I talk about my 8 streams of income. I've shown my 1040s, I've shown my W-2s, I've shown all kind of stuff, right? I've shown my 1099s. I'm making an egregious amount of money. It would be disrespectful for me to be sitting here and saying, I know what you're going through. Man, I ain't been broke in so long. I ain't been broke since 09, 08, 09. And then for this woman to sit here and talk about, I get it, guys. I get it. We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. Hey, Wills Arena, tell your mama I said what up. We're all in the same boat. You saw my W-2. You ain't seen. I make more in a week than some people make in a year. I make more in a week than some people make in a year. That's a fact. And I'm very, very appreciative of it. I'm very, very appreciative of it. I make more in a year than some people, or in a week than some people make in a year. And I'm thankful. That's why I got the best job in the world. Do I work hard? Absolutely. Am I willing to not sleep? 100%. But listen to this woman. Look at her be so out of touch.
People are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money who lies and changes things, I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person, you know? And my kid has to feed her family, you know? And my great-granddaughter has to be fed by her family. I know it's hard out there, but I also know that there are a lot of things that we just said, no, I'm just going to go this way.
Right.
And a lot of that is also what happened. I love what she did. Yay. You know, we talk to people all the time who say, this is what's bothering me.
Somebody said, Whoopi get hit hard. We all get hit hard by taxes. We all get hit hard by taxes. We all trying to figure this junk out from a tax perspective. That ain't nothing new. She not special. We all getting our butts kicked. What do you mean? Bro, if you got tax problems, then that means you blessed. If you got tax problems, then that means that you blessed. All right? That's just the truth. All of that other stuff, is people out here that's trying to figure out how they're going to get their next meal. That's disrespectful to real working families to sit there and say, oh my God, I'm trying to figure it out. Stop, bro. Just stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's insane. Jamzy says AOC went from broke to millionaire via insider trading. Look at it at AD. I can't substantiate that. I did some research. I couldn't find anything. Jay Sanchez says Sonny is reaching. She didn't even say if it was for Dem or Republican. People probably wanted to change to Republican down ticket. I agree. Executive Suite Emily says Whoopi pulled up in a pair of phone posits. I used to love phone posits. Them some of the most comfortable shoes. LeGarrette says, these folks are just a bunch of rich, narcissistic, out-of-touch women who could care less about any common man and women. They live in their Hollywood bubble. Whoopi woke up with violence with that outfit on. Whoopi was looking crazy. Who was her stylist? A Bird's Eye View says, I'm trying to come and learn to work at an entry level, though, but I'm willing, Anton. Okay, all right. Advanced Perception says it's not rocket science. Once the Dem shifted from how am I going to serve you to he's a fascist, it was over. Should have focused on policies. I like them making excuses. I think I need to do a deeper dive of that whole show. I like them making excuses, but I think we need to do a deeper dive. I really do think we need to do a deeper dive. These people are so out of touch. You can live off of $15,000 a year? That's insane. Anyways, last but not least, we had Trump. Trump pulled up to the White House and he said that he's going to dismantle the deep state. Let's just focus more on the White House right now. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
And did not attend Biden's inauguration. The president-elect arrived in Washington earlier this morning to meet with House Republicans. Congressional Republicans in both chambers will pick their leadership today. Today's White House meeting comes as Trump quickly announced a number of cabinet appointments. The latest include John Ratcliffe to be the CIA director. Ratcliffe was the director of national intelligence in the last Trump administration. Trump has also picked Pete Hegseth, Fox News host and Army veteran, to serve as defense secretary. These are positions that have to be confirmed by the Senate. The 78-year-old incoming president also announced the plan to create a new agency. He is calling it the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Elon Musk is in Washington today. You can see this picture of him. He's traveled with Trump aboard his plane. He poured more than $100 million into helping President-elect Trump win. Mr. Trump said the goal of this new department is to help dismantle government bureaucracy and to slash excess regulations. We know that Elon Musk was on Capitol Hill earlier today with the president-elect. Not clear whether he's also at the White House at this hour, but he has been with the president, advising him and being with him as they put together this new team for the White House. Now, Trump will retake the presidency with a much broader support among the American people than when he first took the oath of office in 2017. I want to show you the tape now from the Oval Office of the two presidents shaking hands.
Looking forward to having like we said, smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough. And it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today. And I appreciate it very much. And a transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get. And I
nice
very much
vibe.
appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Biden looks so happy. He looks so happy. He looks like he's got a second jolt of Coca-Cola. Looked like he got some, some uppers. He got some uppers. Biden, I believe in my heart that Biden actually voted for Kamala Harris. If you ask, for Trump. I believe that Biden voted for Trump. Trump voted for Trump. Kamala Harris might have even voted for Trump because she was like, you know what, this is too stressful. Women shouldn't be in this position. I want to go home and cook my greens in the tub with my bacon in it. I want to go home and cook my greens in the tub with the bacon in it. Why are they yelling like that? Why are they, so they just gonna start yelling out like that?
Thank you all.
Jesus! Good God Almighty! What the hell is happening inside of the White House? Don't y'all got some kind of coof? Whoa! Whoa! It was just. I was looking around like, what is going on? I know they're yelling out questions. You can't hear nothing.
I want to give you a sense of what happens in the Oval Office there. That is the White House pool. Those are photographers, print reporters, radio, television reporters as part of a small pool that gets invited into the Oval Office to not only take pictures there, but sometimes to shout questions, because sometimes the president or president-elect will respond. In this case, they've decided not to respond, and the press pool is being shuffled out of the Oval Office. Want to go to Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes for more on this meeting at this hour. And Nancy, now, we don't know how long they'll talk, but we have heard from members of President Biden's team about what President Biden would like to talk with the president-elect about, right?
Right. First and foremost, he wants to talk about making this a smooth transition. President Biden himself remembers all too well 4 years ago when then President Donald Trump did not extend that same courtesy to him because Donald Trump was insisting that he had actually won the election and was going to stay in the Oval Office. And so all of the mechanics that you normally see with a transition, it takes months. It's extremely complicated. It's supposed to be very sophisticated to pave the way for the next administration. A lot of that didn't happen, Nora. And so today, President Biden making it clear in that meeting that he intends to do everything that he can to help the incoming president. Beyond that, beyond the two of them saying it was going to be a smooth transition, they really didn't have much in the way of compliments to pay to each other. Normally, when you see leaders there in the Oval Office sitting with the president, they at least exchange some niceties about what a great job the other has done. We didn't hear a lot of that today, but it is still a good sign that at least there is going to be more of a transition this time around than there was 4 years ago.
Nancy Cordes, thank you. And as you can see, that fire roaring in the back of the Oval Office, something the President Biden likes to have, a fire in the Oval Office. It's cool in Washington, but it's 50 degrees at this hour. But you can see that roaring fire. I want to bring in Chief Election Campaign Correspondent and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa. And Robert, we've heard from the President's National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, on Face the Nation here on Sunday, saying that he's going to bring up not only domestic issue, but foreign policy issues, including the war in Ukraine. What do you expect to happen today? We don't know just yet. It could be an extended meeting.
Nora, I've been talking to people close to President Biden and close to President-elect Trump. And if you look at the video we just saw, they seem to be in relatively good spirits. The president smiling, President-elect Trump shaking the hand of President Biden. Here's what I know, talking to people very close to both of these gentlemen. President Biden is sitting across from someone who did not defeat him. He beat Trump in 2020, and he obviously, as we all know, exited the race in 2024.
Oh, that L was coming. We all seen it. We didn't even have to wait for it. They pushed him out. They bullied him, and they pushed him out.
And behind the scenes, many Biden allies still believe that President Biden would have beaten President-elect Trump if Biden was still on the ballot in
Who believe that? Who believes that? Who in this chat or in the world actually believes that Biden would have beat Trump in this election? Nobody, not a soul, no one is posing that question and saying that Biden would have beat Trump in this election. Stop it.
2024, and they say that behind the scenes, yes, President Biden dislikes President-elect Trump and how he's a danger to democracy in President Biden's view. But at the same time, they don't have this personal animus right now against each other. And it's interesting, President-elect Trump has been telling people behind the scenes he believes that President Biden is okay with him. That at the end of the day, he thinks President Biden, this is Trump's characterization, President Biden is angrier at Democrats for nudging him out of the race than he is at President-elect Trump. So for history, quite an intriguing dynamic between these two presidents sitting there in the Oval Office. On policy, Trump is telling people he wants to move quickly to cut a peace deal with Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky, and have the United States, through Trump, be a broker of that deal. You could see the United States weigh in through Biden today to have President Biden give his 2 cents. But at the end of the day, President-elect Trump saying it's he and he alone who will be the one to cut that deal come 2025, if it can happen.
It's an important.
Nobody in the world believed that Biden was going to win that election. Not a soul. But I do believe that I don't think that Biden have anything against Trump. I believe that Biden 100% is cool with Trump. I don't think that it's a beef. I don't think that it's a problem. I don't think they got issues. They probably kicking him out. He probably was helping to work behind the scenes on Trump's behalf and voted for Trump. I believe that Biden absolutely hates Kamala Harris. I believe that Biden absolutely hates Kamala Harris. I believe he despises and spit on the picture of Nancy Pelosi. I believe that he 100% is against all of them. All of them. I think he hates them all. He probably don't like none of them people that's around. He probably is an advocate. Probably already gave keys to Trump to the White House. Gave keys to Trump to the White House to make sure he can, and giving him all of the keys to make sure he get this government efficiency program to clean them all out. I don't think for 1 second that Biden is cool with, likes, embraces, rocks with, is advocating for. He probably prayed against them. He probably went to Louisiana and got some dust and threw it on them. 100%. Eric D says, no, Biden understands politics. We all understand politics. I understand that he had to smile and act like he still liked Kamala Harris. But guess what? At the Democratic National Convention, he was supposed to be there the whole time. Somehow, some way, his schedule changed once he was out, and they made him speak first. He had to speak first. They changed his arraignment from Democratic National Convention major speaker to where he had to speak first, and he never even stayed overnight. He left as soon as the Democratic National Convention, as soon as his speech was done on the first day, Biden was out. You're not going to sit here and tell me that he rocking with her. He hate that chick. He probably be telling Jill, I hate that hoe. I hate that hoe. Gets on my nerves. Rather have Michelle Obama in the office than Kamala Harris. I guarantee you he hate her. Guaranteed he hate her. Anyways, I hate that hoe. I hate that hoe. About to go back to Camp David. Craig says, no need to prove your net worth to these. What do I need to prove my net worth for? What you thought I was going to show you my net worth? Good morning, AD. I'm glad I'm not all of them are bobbleheads. Sonny, on the other hand, can't be helped. Ask him, what's the price of eggs? It's just ridiculous. Green Blaze, the Fly Eagle, says, anytime a woman can openly say she proudly pays for male sex workers with her own income, she's not in the middle class. Oh, that's what she said? Somebody busting that down? $5.2 million is $100,000 a week. She is wild disrespectful. Me University says, pray for your soul and Denzel's. Sonny is a great value, J-Lo. What? Cynthia E, thank you. I appreciate you. Telltale Walk says would Trump tariffs short-term cause inflation? Nope. I don't believe so. Chris Monroe SCL says, do you think Trump is in the clear of an assassination attempt? Nope. I think that it's always going to be people that try to get him up out of there. Kung Fu Hustler says, Biden, Obama, and Trump stream Mass Effect together. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. Shout out to everybody that hold me down on Cash App, Super Chats, and all of that. Listen, make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. It should be awesome. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out with the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Oh, let me read this last Super Chat. Me University says, if I learned anything during my military career, secret alliances and grudges. Okay. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight on After Hours.